The heavy steel baton crashed through the Maybach's passenger window, spraying tempered glass across the hand-stitched cream leather interior. Vanessa Carter stood handcuffed beside the rear tire, her navy wool coat damp from the evening mist. She didn't scream. She didn't thrash against the cold metal binding our wrists. She simply turned her head, looking at the two officers with a calm, terrifying stillness, and said quietly, "Please don't touch that." Officer Ryan ignored her, a smirk playing at the corner of his lips as he reached through the shattered glass into the glove compartment. Surrounding the vehicle, dozens of bystanders stood frozen on the sidewalk beneath the streetlights, holding up their phones to record. No one stepped forward. No one challenged the officers. "You people think driving an expensive vehicle hides where you come from," Ryan muttered, pulling out a stack of personal papers. As he yanked the documents free, a heavy brass key fell from the leather binder, bouncing off the doorframe and landing on the wet asphalt. Etched into the scratched metal were 6 distinct words: V. Carter, Chambers 4B. Officer Ryan kicked the key aside with his boot, unconcerned. He assumed he was dealing with a suspect who had either stolen a luxury car or acquired it through illegal means. He saw a quiet black woman standing alone in the dark, and he believed power belonged entirely to the badge on his chest. He had no idea what that key represented, or who was about to recognize it. To understand the serene composure Vanessa Carter maintained on that wet pavement, one must understand the long, difficult road that had brought her to that night. Born in the segregated wards of Atlanta during the late 1960s, Vanessa was the daughter of a hard-working postal worker and a public school teacher. Her parents raised her on a simple, powerful philosophy. The law can be misused by men, Vanessa, but justice itself belongs to those who master it. Vanessa spent her youth studying by flashlight after long shifts working as a legal clerk. She faced constant skepticism from professors and peers who questioned whether a black woman belonged in elite legal institutions. When law firms passed her over for lesser qualified candidates, she didn't complain. She worked twice as hard, mastering constitutional law and corporate litigation until her brilliant mind became impossible to ignore. Over 3 decades, Vanessa carved her name into the history of American jurisprudence. She served as a federal prosecutor battling systemic corruption before being nominated and confirmed to the United States Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit, one of the highest judicial positions in the nation. Despite earning a formidable salary and driving a luxury vehicle she had purchased with her own hard-earned money, Judge Carter never forgot her humble origins. She routinely spent her weekends mentoring young law students from underprivileged backgrounds, teaching them that dignity is an unassailable fortress. Back on the street, Officer Ryan was attempting to force Judge Carter into the back of the patrol vehicle, claiming she was resisting an unlawful stop. "Put your head down and get in," Ryan barked, shoving her shoulder. Suddenly, a sleek black sedan screeched to a halt behind the police cruiser. The rear door swung open, and out stepped Chief District Prosecutor Thomas Sterling, flanked by 2 senior homicide detectives. Sterling had been on his way to a city gala when he noticed the flashing lights and recognized the distinct Maybach parked on the curb. Sterling pushed past the bystanders, his face pale as he took in the sight of the shattered window, the hand-stitched leather covered in glass, and the handcuffed woman in the navy coat. "Ryan!" Sterling shouted, his voice echoing across the intersection. "What in God's name are you doing? Unhand her immediately!" Officer Ryan stepped back, looking confused. "Sir, we pulled over this vehicle on suspicion. She refused to step out fast enough, so we swept the car." Sterling didn't let him finish. He personally pulled the key from his pocket, unlocked the handcuffs from Judge Carter's wrists, and bowed his head in deep embarrassment. "Judge Carter," Sterling said, his voice trembling before the entire crowd and the recording phone cameras, "I am profoundly sorry. Please tell me you are unharmed." Officer Ryan froze. His breath caught in his throat as the words hung heavy in the damp night air. "Judge Carter?" Sterling turned on the officer, his eyes blazing with fury. "You just shattered the window of the senior presiding judge of the Federal Appeals Court, the same judge who oversees judicial misconduct reviews for this entire district." Officer Ryan's face drained of all color. He looked down at the scratched brass key lying in the puddle on the asphalt. V. Carter, Chambers 4B. Judge Vanessa Carter slowly rubbed her wrists, stepping toward the officer. She didn't shout. She didn't threaten. She looked Officer Ryan dead in the eyes, speaking with a calm, resonant authority that commanded absolute silence from the entire street. "You looked at me tonight and saw someone you thought you could crush without consequence," Judge Carter said smoothly. "You assumed that because I was quiet, I was powerless. But the law does not belong to your baton, officer. It belongs to the truth." Within 24 hours, the footage recorded by bystanders went viral across the nation. An immediate federal investigation was launched into the precinct's traffic stop protocols. Officer Ryan was suspended without pay, pending formal judicial review, and systemic oversight measures were instituted across the department. Judge Carter had her Maybach repaired, but she kept the scratched brass key on her desk in Chambers 4B, a silent reminder that no matter how heavy the weight of prejudice may be, true justice will always prevail.